Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian, and Haitians. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Yahweh is the Most High name, the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is His only begotten Son name. Bahashem is in the name. Got to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well, and a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hopeful elect. And shalom to the Aqua who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah, coming at you another lesson in truth, fact, faith, and edification. And this is another daily edification. Lord's willing to be edified. And then this is a clip from RT News, and it's titled 4 Reasons U.S. Would Lose War with Iran. Okay, 4 reasons U.S. would lose war with Iran. And that's also part of prophecy, man. Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, North America will be destroyed by Russia, North Korea, China, Iran. All the allies of North America is going to turn on her. All the allies of North America will turn and they will destroy her with fire. Thus saith the Bible. So let's get into it.
From Studio 4 in the world headquarters of RT America in our nation's capital, this is the news with Rick Sanchez. Good evening. Tonight we want to examine what would happen in a war between the United States and Iran. You see, many neocons and President Trump himself say they are confident the U.S. would win a war with Iran. The president's exact words are, quote, "It would be the end of Iran and Tehran would be obliterated." But according to a little-known study conducted by the Pentagon in 2002, referred to as the Millennium Challenge, in a war with Iran, the U.S. military would actually lose. The mission pitted the full might of the U.S. forces in the most expensive and expansive military exercise in history against the combined forces of Iran, and the result was not good for the U.S. Military exercises aside, we wondered what could happen following a military strike against Iran. The answer, say most military, diplomat, and Middle East experts, is that it could lead to an all-out conflagration in the region. So what we want to do tonight is take you through those geopolitical repercussions that would occur in 4 major areas. Number 1, a clarion call to all Shias. See, many Shia Muslims see Iran as their spiritual home. Therefore, the first thing that experts say would happen is a clarion call, if you will, to millions of Shia militias from places like Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan, where battle-hardened fighters would attack U.S. bases in those countries, while hundreds of others, perhaps thousands of Shia faithful, would join the fight in Iran proper. Let's go now to number 2, sucking Israel into the fight. Syrian forces backed by Iran would be sent to capture the Golan Heights. That would immediately suck Israel into the war, which would then suck in Israel's neighbors as well. Lebanon, for example, there are more than 200,000 descendants of Palestinians. In Jordan, there could even be an uprising against the monarchy by 500,000 Palestinians living in Jordanian camps. Important things to consider. Number 3, Iran's missile attacks. Any attack by the United States would see Iran fire missiles not at its attacker, but at targets in the Gulf region, which are within reach and are vulnerable to those attacks. Dubai, for example, because of tourism. Imagine that. Missiles fired at Dubai Airport. Abu Dhabi, because it contains the bulk of the Emirates' oil. Both could be shut down within days. And finally, number 4, the Strait of Hormuz, strangled. So Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, all export their oil and gas through the Strait of Hormuz. Iran, according to intelligence officials, already can and would use mines to create a choke point, if you will. And that would bring about a complete strangulation of the world's most important oil seaway, and it could set off a worldwide economic crisis, the likes of which the world has never witnessed. I want you to listen to something. This is an Iraq war veteran and congresswoman.
And you heard him say, which the world has never witnessed. Every other country around the world have witnessed war. The only country on this planet that has not witnessed war is North America, man. Babylon the Great. That's why the Lord says this in Isaiah 47, and it reads, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon." Why is it called virgin daughter? Because North America has never been spoiled in war before. Okay? It's your virgin daughter. She is a virgin to this game, man. To this game of war. Talking about North America. It has never been spoiled in war before. Okay? And you heard what he just said, man. And he's talking about North America. North America has never been in war like around the world, man. Like Japan and China and Russia, Iran, Syria. North America is the only country on the planet that hasn't had war, man. Okay?
Tulsi Gabbard, this is her take on this on Fox News.
What I think is important for the American people to know is that a war with Iran would make the war in Iraq look like a cakewalk. The devastation and the cost would be far greater than anything we've ever experienced before.
Very few politicians, or members of the media for that matter, were willing to share the truth about what could happen during the invasion of Iraq. Instead, we were told it would be quick.
It ain't what could happen. It's what will happen. Okay? It's just when it's going to happen. And you heard he just said it's going to be quick. The Lord said in 1 hour, North America would be wiped off the map, man. Okay? In 1 hour, man.
That we would be welcomed as liberators and that we would bring peace and democracy to the entire region. Our job here on this newscast is not to scare.
See, when you read 1 Thessalonians, you heard he just said they're going to try to bring peace. There's going to be no peace, man. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape, man. Okay? It's another precept in Ezekiel. This is Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Okay? You people sitting around here playing games, worrying about Facebook, social media, FaceTiming. The world finna be destroyed, man. And the economy is collapsing, man. Okay, the banks are broke. I don't know if you've been watching, but the banks are broke. And the Federal Reserve Bank, the central banks, been pumping $150 billion a night into the banks, man. Okay? Babylon the Great, North America is destroyed, man. And now come the RFID microchip, which they're going to make mandatory. You're going to have to take the RFID microchip, whether in your head or in your hand, and then come World War III. Thus saith the Bible.
Hear you or to cheerlead for one side or the other. It's to tell you the truth. And that's what we do as we drill down on this story even more, because we believe, as we often say, it really is time to do news again. And here's the list, the one you wait for every night, the list of questions we think you'll be asking tomorrow. What happens if war breaks out between the United States and Iran?
North America, U.S. going to be totally wiped off the map. I'm going to get some precepts on it, but I want to play these couple clips first.
Who is orchestrating the UK's version of Russia phobia? Uber huge brand, household name. Why can't they turn a profit? But let's begin with this.
Why they can't turn a profit? Because the grinding shall cease, man. Okay? The doors in the street shall be closed, man. North America is finished, man. Everything is collapsing here.
Now, more than ever, we as Americans need to be vigilant regarding what our government does in our name. Why? Well, because of exactly what President Eisenhower warned us against and seems to have come true. The quote is this: military-industrial complex has achieved unwarranted influence in America. Those are his words, and that describes what's happening now. And if they get their way, a war with Iran would be just dandy. Or to quote my colleague Jim Jatras, more money, more money, more money. Let's bring in Jim Jatras. He's a former U.S. diplomat, and we're also joined by former Pentagon official Michael Maloof to talk about this scenario where the United States would be somehow at war with Iran. Michael, let me begin with you. The repercussions as I described them, those are the geopolitical repercussions, but the military repercussions as well, just between the military might of the United States and the military might of Iran, that too would be something which would be quite serious, no?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, literally overnight, you would have total war throughout the world, and you'd have a complete economic depression because of the retaliatory actions by Iran if the United States and Iran got into it. Question is, who initiates? And right now, both sides have been putting off on that. What bothers me tremendously is that we were within 10 minutes of what you're talking about right now, thanks to John Bolton. Happily, he's gone for now, but the neocons are still there. And that's what we got to be worried about. If Trump were to lose re-election, they would switch over to the Democrats. They're not going to be leaving Washington, and they're going to be hitting on this mantra of going after Iran.
So when I said,
And if you think they create these missiles just to shoot them in an air show, you done lost your mind, man. Okay? They're not creating these missiles just to use them in an air show. They will be used. They will be shot here on North America, Babylon the Great. Thus saith the Bible.
that they literally do want a war with Iran. They literally do want a war with Iran. That's not overstatement on my part.
Right.
I don't think so.
Let's look at the diplomatic side of this, Jim. I think this is really important because a lot of people think, well, this is very simple. We're going to bomb Iran and, we're bigger than they are. So eventually it would be over quite quickly. Actually, there are...
Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of their heart have deceived them, man. Who? The pride of North America heart, man. The pride of these red men. Their heart have deceived them, man. Okay?
so many repercussions that involve so many other players. And I'm just going to go through my short list, and I'm sure you can add a few yourself, right? Israel, of course, right? Saudi Arabia, right? Of course, they would be involved. We would be looking at, as I mentioned, the monarchy in Jordan. The Palestinians would probably somehow come to the fray. We don't know exactly what the Russians would do, but they may get involved. This whole thing could embroil many countries in that.
And that's what the Bible said. I'm going to read the precepts, man. All these other countries that's joined to North America right now for the moment, that's a part of the UN, they're all going to turn on North America, man. Every country that's joined to North America right now as a part of EU and the NATO, the UN, they're going to turn on them and they're going to shoot missiles on them and destroy them, man. Matter of fact, let me jump straight to that. This is Revelation 17 in verse 16, and it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," the 10 horns represent the EU nations, okay, the European Union. "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate, and naked, and shall eat her flesh, and burn her with fire." Okay?
To slightly disagree with my friend Michael,
I don't think it's so much that they want a war with Iran, they want regime change in Iran. They want a different government in Iran, a puppet government installed like the MEK, like we parachuted Ahmed Chalabi down into Iraq. But they're willing to risk war or even go to war to get that regime change.
Right.
Now, they've tried sanctions, they've tried everything else, internal subversion to try to overthrow the current government, which,
And like I always say, North America has been the bully on the schoolyard, man. All the other countries, they have been bullied by North America for centuries and centuries, man. And these nations are tired of North America being the bully, man. And like I always use the analogy at camp, man. What happened to a bully after a little bit of time, man? Somebody at school, on the schoolyard, always beat the bully's ass, man. Okay? The bully eventually get beat up, man. And that's these nations. And scripture tell you all the weak nations that was weak, they are becoming strong. And North America, which was the strongest nation, is becoming weak, man. And these other nations, as the scripture tell you, Obadiah 1 and 7, all the nations that were at confederacy with thee have deceived thee. Okay? And they're going to come against North America, man. While you people sitting around worrying about LeBron James and social media and what's going on with the impeachment, World War III is playing out. The RFID microchip is getting pushed over the world, being made mandatory. And you people is worrying about things that don't pertain to salvation.
I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for, but it's not our job to go around overthrowing other countries' governments, but the people in the deep state. Look, when we talk about the American deep state, we talk about Eisenhower and the military-industrial complex in Eisenhower's day was a horse and buggy operation compared to a Formula One racer, compared to what we have today. That we're talking about the intelligence community, the financial community, the information technology, all of these things, plus the foreign lobbies for Israel, Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, and everybody else who all are on the same page here.
What do you make of this Millennium Report, the one that you had a hand in, right? You were working at the Pentagon in 2002.
Exactly.
It essentially says we would lose the war, though.
Yes, but what it basically also was during a period in which we had what was called a preemptive policy, in which we were going to go on an attack, and this is what got John Bolton all hot and bothered to go into Baghdad, use that as a base and as a hub for our other activities, then taking out Tehran, taking out Baghdad, Damascus, Libya, and Saudi Arabia at the time, all countries that were opposed to Israel. Now, and then you fast forward to today, what would happen if we were to, if Iran were to be attacked? I can tell you 1 million Shia from those various countries that you talked about would not only descend and defend Iran, they would descend on Israel.
That would set the entire region on fire.
This is Ezekiel 38 and verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. What is that talking about? Russia is going to go back into that old Cold War state, man. The Lord said he's going to put hooks into thy jaws, meaning turn them back to how they was when they was the Soviet Union, man. Okay? War, man. And it reads, And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor. Talking about those missiles, man. This is talking about Russia. Even a great company with bucklers and shield, all of them handling swords. It said even a great company. Listen who it mentioned first. It say Persia. Who is Persia today? Iran, man. Okay? Iran is Persia, man. And what happened to Babylon in the ancient time? The ancient Babylon. Who took the ancient Babylon down? The Persians, man. Okay? The Persians did, man. It's a Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them. All of them with shield and helmet. It's a Gomer and all the bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands. It's talking about Turkey, okay? Turkey and all the other nations. And Togarmah of the north quarter, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Okay, it say, be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Who? Russia is going to be a guard unto them. Don't you see Russia is supplying all these other countries with S-400s, man? And Russia have S-700s and even S-900s, man. This is the missile defense system, if you don't know what that is. Okay? World War III is coming, man. Now I say, gather together, and all the other nations that's with you. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. For lo, I will raise. Who will raise? The Most High Yahweh. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. Where is that at? Russia. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. The arrows are my missiles, man. And the Chaldeans shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. This is talking about Babylon the Great, North America being destroyed by all the other nations, man. The Lord is gathering these nations together to destroy Babylon the Great, man. Okay? I'm going to play some more of this, and I got a couple more clips.
Remember, Iran is a country that's 3 times the population of what Iraq had.
Right.
In 2003, it's got 3 million, something like that. Yeah,
These are the Persians, man.
The area, they're, even if these people were mad enough to try a ground invasion as we went into Iraq, I don't even know how you get into Iran. From what country? Not from the Iraqis won't allow it. The Turks won't allow it. The Pakistanis won't allow it. Plus, if you did, they're mountain. There are all sorts of problems.
See, that's showing you that North America gonna be boxed in, man. Okay? Hey, North America gonna be boxed in, man. And they gonna be destroyed, man. This is Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread, meaning all they that sell their merchandise over here in North America, have laid a wound under thee. There is no understanding in him. There's no understanding in you red men. You don't know what's going on, man. Because your pride is so high, man. Okay? It said all they that were at confederacy with thee. Who was that? Psalm 83 and verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, and the Moab. It said, and of Moab, the Chinese, and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon. Ammon is the Japanese, and Amalek, the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Philistines are the Africans. Listen, all these nations, man, is going to turn against you, you modern day Babylonians, man. Okay?
Internal subversion, all sorts of other
It's funny you say that because I'm just going to add this as an American, right? As an American consumer of war. I hate using that term, but that's kind of what we are. We have been trained to believe that our military is able to do these precision strikes where we can go in and dominate any part of the world just like that with a snap of a finger. What you're saying is it would not be that simple. You just don't bomb and get out and walk away with a victory.
No, I think they believe they could inflict enough damage on Iran that its infrastructure and social structure could collapse, and then they would be vulnerable to internal subversion. I think that's what they think.
But Michael, maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that as soon as we fire, and that's what this report seems to say by so many experts, the moment we attack Iran, they attack Saudi Arabia or Israel.
Oh yeah, they could not. That what occurred a few months ago in September was just a dress rehearsal of shutting down all the oil in
the Strait of Hormuz,
and they would blockade the Straits of Hormuz. That's just one aspect. There would also be the shooting of missiles. It would be done by a swarm approach.
Hey, that's beautiful, man.
Capability that no one talks about. They have an EMP, electromagnetic pulse
Right.
capability, which they can absolutely disable ships and what have you.
Well, that's why
Right.
we keep our
And they're gonna disable North America everything, man, with the EMP, man. Okay? This is Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows. And he just said they're gonna shoot the missiles, man. Okay? This is prophecy. And we don't need these red men, we don't need their confirmation, man. The scriptures confirm everything, man. Jeremiah 51:11. Make bright the arrows, which is talking about missiles. Gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. Who is that, man? Who is the spirit of the king of the Medes, man? This is talking about Russia, Persia, Iran, the modern day people, man. Okay, in those lands. The Lord have raised up the spirit of the king of the Medes for his devices against Babylon to destroy it. Because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. North America is going to be ambushed by Russia, China, Japan, Turkey, Iran, Syria, Saudi Arabia. All these countries finna come up against Babylon the Great, man. Prepare the ambushes, for the Lord Yahweh have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon, man. This is the will of the Lord, man. Like I said, Micah 2:10, you better rise and depart and flee, man. Okay? If you don't spiritually turn back to the Lord, all you 2/3, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, you're going to die with the enemies, man. Let's jump to this, man. Show you what Russia got, man. You people think it's a game out there? Let's show you what Russia got, man. This is what Russia got. Who is the Medes? The modern day Medes, man. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do this. While they finna shoot them, I want you to see. I'm finna get these precepts. This is let's go to Psalms. Matter of fact, let me get Isaiah first. Isaiah 7. Let's get Isaiah 7 and 24. It reads, with arrows and with his bows shall men come thither, because all the land shall become briars and thorns. Okay? All the land shall become briars and thorns, man. Meaning a total waste. Okay? Destruction. Desolate. Isaiah 13:18. It reads, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb, and their eyes shall spare not children. And Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, which is the greatest kingdom on earth right now. Look what Russia got, man. Look how they shooting them missiles out, man. The beauty of the Chaldeans, excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How did he destroy Sodom and Gomorrah? With fire and brimstone, man. It shall never be inhabited, to my North America. neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, man. Okay? It's gonna be nothing left here, man. Nothing. There's gonna be nothing left here, man. Let's play this one. You see what that is right there? That's called a silo. Let's get that. This is Job. When you see it open it like that, that's what the missile's gonna come out of. Let's read it right here. This is Job. Chapter 20 and verse 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Talking about these missiles, man. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. That's what you see right now. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. This is the body where the missiles sit at, in the silos. Okay? It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword. Why is it a glittering sword? Because I'm about missiles, man. And the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terror are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. Why is the fire? What is the fire not blown? Talking about from the missiles, man. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Show you what Russia got, man. And they got missiles way far advanced than these. What you're gonna see right here, man. This is Psalms chapter 11 verse 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire and brimstone, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. Who? The cup of the wicked, the red men, okay? The elites in their whole house. Psalms 7 and 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors, man. Okay? His arrows, man. Talking about the missiles. Because this is what? Let's read it. Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 25. The Lord Yahweh have opened his armory, and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh, power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Okay? What's he talking about? These missiles, man. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Put yourself in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend up the bow. Shoot at her. Spare no arrow, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Talking about these missiles, man. Okay? These missiles, man. This is Ezekiel chapter 5 and verse 6. Ezekiel 5 and 16, and it reads, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, which I will send to destroy you, and I will increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall bereave. And they shall bereave thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord Yahweh, have spoken it, man. Okay? What is it talking about? The power of Russia, North Korea, Syria, Iran, China. This is Psalms 18 and verse 14. Yeah, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. What's them arrows? These missiles, man. Okay? The Lord is gathering these nations, man, to destroy North America. They sit here comparing if they're going to win the war. No, man. Because this is the work of the Lord, man. They ain't going to win nothing. Let me see. This is Deuteronomy 32 and verse 23. And it reads, matter of fact, let me start at 22. For a fire is kindled in my anger. This is words of the Lord. And shall burn unto the lowest hell, and shall consume the earth with her increase, and shall set on fire the foundations of the mountains. I will heap mischief upon them. I will spin my arrows upon them. They shall be burnt with hunger and devoured with burning heat and with bitter destruction. I will also send the teeth of beasts upon them, with the poison of serpents of the dust. The sword without and terror within shall destroy both the young man and the virgin, the suckling also with the man of gray hairs. Hey, this place is finna be destroyed, man. And if you're not prepared for what's about to come, if you don't have on the whole armor of the Heavenly Father, you will be destroyed, man. This is Psalms 144 in verse 6. Cast forth lightnings and scatter them. Shoot out thine arrows and destroy them, man. Okay? That's what's coming, man. Oh, there's another infomercial. But the point I want to go back to is this one, man. This is Isaiah 13 and verse 5. And it reads, Isaiah 13 and 5. They come from a far country. What do? The missiles. From the end of the heaven, even the Lord Yahweh and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of the Lord Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Let's get this. Jeremiah 51 and 1. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind. Okay? A destroying wind, man. And it's going to come from what? The missiles, man. This is Isaiah 54:16. And it reads, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his works. And I have created a waster to destroy. What is a waster? An intercontinental ballistic missile, man. That's what a waster is. So what you seeing is Babylon the Great finna be destroyed, man, by every other country on the earth, man. Every country on the earth is finna destroy Babylon the Great, man. Okay? With the missiles that you see flying out like that right there, man. This is Psalm 77. In verse 17. The clouds pour off out water. The skies sent out a sound, that thine arrows also went abroad. What sound? That boom you're gonna hear from the missiles, man. Okay? That boom you're gonna hear, man. That boom that you're gonna hear from the missiles, man. This is let me get this. Let me see. Going back to songs, man. Because a lot of this is really mentioned in songs, man. Psalms 64 and verse 7. But power shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. This destruction is coming, man. Okay? And the devices that they have created, or I should say the devices that the Heavenly Father had them to create, they're going to die by those same devices, man. This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, and it reads, But that day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. It ain't talking about the spiritual realm where the Heavenly Father Yahweh. It's talking about here, earth, in which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. And the element, what noise? The missiles when they hit, man. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works there are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manners of person are ye ought to be in our holy conversation? Okay? This is Malachi chapter 4 and verse 1. For behold, a day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, all that do wickedly, shall be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up, said the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Okay? It shall leave neither root nor branch, man. This is what's coming, man. This is Zechariah 14 and verse 12. And it shall be, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Who is Jerusalem? The so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. Jerusalem is a people before it's a place. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouths. Let me see if it'll come up. I'm going to play it for you as I read it. Zechariah 14 and 12. I'm going to wait till the scene start, and I'm going to read this precept. This when Sarah Connor fell into that trance, and she had that dream. As it playing, I'm going to read it. This is Zechariah 14 and verse 12. And it reads, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. All you heathen nations that put your hand on the Israelites. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet." Let's watch it. "And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." Let's watch it. See, these prophecies are coming back. They are coming to pass, man. That's that Jeremiah 51:1 right there, man. That destroying wind. You see her tongue consume away in her mouth, and her eyes consume away in her hole. It say their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. You see that's what that's doing to her? Her flesh is consuming away while she's standing upon her feet. Let's run that back, man. Let's run that back. You see that? Zechariah 14 and 12. "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet." Where do you think they get this scene from right here in this movie? They get it from out the Bible, man. "Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth." Okay? This is what's going to happen, man, when the missiles hit. That's exactly how the fire is going to spread, man. And I just read you 2 Peter 3 and 10. It say everything shall melt with fervent heat, man. It ain't going to be nothing left here, man. Okay? Nothing. Nothing, man. See that right there? Their flesh shall consume away on their feet, man. I just read that to you, man. Okay? That's what's coming, man. That's what's coming. That's what's coming, man. Hey, so Lord willing, this is edifying. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the occupants pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four ends of the earth, the entire world, working up the hopefully elect. And shalom to the Agwaf who are listening and learning. The few sisters who are listening and learning. I'll play some more of this.
Group so far away from the Gulf, because the people in the military know this would not be a cakewalk. And one of my concerns is that, especially with Trump under a lot of pressure, impeachment, and so forth, I think that some people would, there's a little Machiavellianism going on here. Let's see if we can get him to do something really, really dumb that he can get blamed for.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope it doesn't happen,
we were
gentlemen.
within 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way,
look what Trump did. He's crazy.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
We're out of time, but this is the kind of stuff I think Americans appreciate. We want to know the facts before we get into this kind of conflagration. My thanks to both of you. There is a penchant in the U.S. for politicians of all stripes to insult their opponents by associations. Republicans did it to Obama by accusing him of secretly working.
This is 2 Ezra 16 and verse 13. For strong is the right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth, man. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward. Even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Okay? Let's get Joel, man. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. And it reads, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, wake up the elect. Wake up the elect of Israel. And sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There have not been ever the like, neither shall there be any more after it. So like I said in Jeremiah 30:7, and Daniel 12:1, it's going to be a day on earth that has never been on the entire planet ever, man. Okay? It said, even to the years of many generations, it ain't going to be no day like Jacob's trouble that's coming, man. And your pastors is not telling you about Jacob's trouble that's coming on earth, man. Okay? They're not preparing you for this, man. They are not preparing you for what's coming, man. I mean, if I want to put this scene back up, must needs be. Gotta put this scene back up as I'm keep reading. Joel 2 and verse 3. A fire devour before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. What? The missiles, man. If you don't have on the whole armor of the Heavenly Father, you will not escape this judgment right here, man. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so they shall run. This is talking about the missiles, man. Okay? Same thing that John saw on the island of Patmos, man, that he wrote in Revelation, the 9th chapter, man, starting at verse 16, man. Okay? Talking about those missiles, man. And if you ain't prepared for this, you're going to be destroyed, man. If you don't have on the whole armor of the Heavenly Father, you will be destroyed, man. This is Psalms 91 Let's read that. Psalm 91, verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret places of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power. In Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, which is talking about from the red men, and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shall thy trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day. What arrow, man? The missiles, man. Okay? When you go to Judges 5 and 11, it reads this. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers. What archers, man? The missiles in the places of drawing water, man. Here, Babylon the Great. Okay? Back in Psalms 91. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Listen, man. Destruction is coming to Babylon the Great, man, and it's coming by ICBMs, man. Intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. Okay? And if you don't have on the whole armor of the Heavenly Father Yahweh, man, you will be destroyed. It said, all the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, man. Okay? All the proud and the wicked, man. Amos 9 and 10, the Lord said, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword. Matthew 10 and 34 say, I come not to bring peace, but a sword. Yahweh shall say, think not that I am come to bring peace. I come not to bring peace, but a sword, man. If you peoples ain't prepared for what's coming, you will be destroyed, man. The elect is going to be saved. No matter what, man. Okay, Matthew 24 and 22. The Lord say, except those days be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 5. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that he may drive them away? May any man drive away an hunger lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it had begun to burn? May one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer? The mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? Nobody, man. It's a fire shall go forth from his wrath. And who is he that may quench it? He shall cast lightnings, and who shall not fear? He shall thunder, and who shall not be afraid? The Lord shall threaten, and who shall not be utterly beaten to powder at his presence? Come on, man. While you sitting playing games, destruction is coming, man. The Lord is finna destroy this earth, man. Okay? With famine, pestilence, race riot, martial law, concentration camps, which is already going on right now, man. You see them throwing the Hispanics, the so-called Hispanics in these concentration camps, man. You see it's going on. Jacob trouble is going to be some terrible, man. Okay? It's going to be horrific, man. Then come the missiles. First and foremost, the RFID microchip, which they will make mandatory soon. So if you ain't on the right side of the Heavenly Father, if you ain't put on the whole armor of the Lord, you will be destroyed, man. Hey, because Babylon the Great, all you who trust in Babylon the Great, matter of fact, let me read this. I'm going to close with this. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 1. And it reads, woe to the rebellious children, talking to you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. Reads, that walk to go down into Egypt, which is talking about Babylon the Great, and have not asked in my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Okay? Like I always say, your Section 8, your habitat housing, your hood, your government assistance, your stamps, your Social Security disability, right? You trust in this system, man. Verse 3. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Okay? It's going to be your confusion, man. This is Isaiah 24 and verse 10. The city of confusion is broken down. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction, man. That's going to be your shame, trusting in this system, man. Not trusting in the Heavenly Father Yahweh, man. Okay? Hey, matter of fact, let me close with this. Psalms chapter 40. Let me read this. Because you trusting in Babylon the Great, you're going to be destroyed. This is Psalm 40 and 4. Blessed is that man that maketh the Lord Yahweh his trust, and respect not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. These people have been lying to us for centuries, man. Got you trusting in these devils, man. And they can't save you. Okay? They cannot save you, man. This is Psalms chapter 10 and verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Upon his tongue is mischief and vanity. They can't save you, man. They have built this world on corruption, man. Okay? Rape, robbing, murder, pillaging, man. And lies. The scriptures say in Job 13 and 4, they are all forges of lies, man. So with that, Shalom.